Now it's Horizon.
Investments up in the Shetland Islands. Very fine part of the north of Scotland. Block 35, detached cottage. Write your bids, please. Whitlow Army on this. Done about £5,000.
I saw this, I liked it, I said I'm going to buy it. I had a look at this, I decided for £8,500 it's worth having a go, because I like this sort of place, you know. And also it says, yeah, I've got mineral rights, I can be the laird, it's got fine views, but I'm not worried about all that. And I just like the idea of it. It looks nice, it looks pleasant. It's got 4 rooms with a kitchen, it's for grazing, it's got peat. I mean, the day I bought this, I concluded a £3 million deal in London. And I was more excited about concluding this deal. You know, yeah, I really was. I mean, I think it's a fantastic thing to buy something like this up in the middle of here, of nowhere. And all my friends, all my directors and deputy directors, and everyone thinks I've gone completely off my head. They think I'm completely eccentric. You know, I don't think I am. I think I'm doing quite a normal, average thing. And they're stupid. They don't see a good property for 9 acres for $6.5 grand. They're bloody mad. I haven't the faintest idea what I'm going to see when I get there, because I bought it at, you know, as you know, I bought it at an auction.
£6,000 in on my left for the first time. £6,000 for the second time. Third and last time, you all done? Sold £6,000.
It may seem easy to buy property in the Highlands and Islands, and it's very attractive to buy it at an auction house in London from what you see in the brochure. But I think it would be wiser to find out exactly what's involved, especially where there's a tenancy. The tenant's rights can be quite formidable, and you must know the extent of these rights before that hammer falls.
Big house. Lot 20. It was sold yesterday at 225,000.
We're probably the biggest residential auctioneers in the country. We certainly sell more properties by auction than any other firm, so the experience is there.
Lot 29 has been sold at 116,000. Lot 30 reserves 55,000.
We've been doing it probably for close on 10 years now, starting from one little office in Hammersmith and putting 45 properties together in one catalogue, and then sort of taking it to the public and see if we could sell them. Unfortunately, that went quite well, and it just sort of built up from there.
Right, lot 33, 490,000.
It's becoming a more acceptable marketplace. It brings in all aspects of property, and therefore it's bringing in sort of the owner-occupier as well as dealer and developer. And the owner-occupier at the moment can get some very good bargains. The vast majority of the people that deal in property are very straightforward. They may look a bit strange, they may sort of dress differently or act differently, but deep down they're straightforward people and they're there to do business. They want to buy property at a price that suits them so they can go away, do something to it, sell it and make a profit, and that is their business. So it's very serious, big money.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's 1 o'clock, time to start the sale. Perhaps I can just say for anybody that's attending one of our auctions for the first time, the system is fairly simple. If you bid for a property and you're the final bidder, once the hammer falls, then you're under a binding contract. One of my colleagues here will come to you with a form. We ask you to complete that as clearly as possible. I'd like you to print your name and address, together with name and address of your solicitors. You then go to the table over here on my left, where you're asked to sign the contract, pay the deposit, and that's it. Very simple, nice, easy way to buy a house, no problems. All you've got to do is make sure you've got the money. So we'll just proceed with this afternoon's sale. First lot is obviously lot 1. Doesn't need me to say anything about it. I think most people will have seen it. So all I can do is invite your bids, please. Where will I start, mate? Yes, OK. 250, thank you. 260 anywhere? 300, thank you. £300,000. 305 anywhere? 305, thank you. 310? 310 on the phone. Got 305 gentlemen sitting down. Anybody else coming in? 310, thank you. 315? 315. 320? Got somebody on the phone from the Bahamas, I'm told, so I hope he phoned us. We didn't phone him. Could lose the commission in telephone bills. 320, thank you. 325? 321? £320,000. Any more? 321, thank you. 322, 323, 324, 325, 326, 326, 327, £326,000 over here. Any more? At £326,000, your bid. Anybody else coming in? At £326,000 for the first time. At £326,000 for the second time. Third and last time, you're done. 327. That's very close, wasn't it? 328. Anybody else coming in? 328. 329. £328,000 back to you. Any more? Do you want to have a go at this, madam? Thought you would. 329. 329. 330. Yes? 345. 345 on the telephone. Don't know who it is, but I hope he does. 350. 350. 351. £350,000, gentlemen sitting down. At £350,000. Any more? A bit more? Anybody else?
I enjoy it. I enjoy standing up there. It's like conducting an orchestra sometimes. Yes. Keep the whole thing moving. You've got to create an atmosphere one way or another. And it's no good to have it all too quiet. You've got to try and keep it moving. You have to keep a pace going. And that's all part of the fun of it. You can't let the room take over. You've got to be in control. Sometimes that's easier said than done. You get some excitable people there and they start calling out. And that's the most important thing to bear in mind for people that do go to auctions. Don't get carried away. You must have a ceiling and stick to it, because it's very easy to get involved in the tempo of the auction and think, just another £500, just another £500. Before you know where you are, it's another 20,000 gone.
Another £5,000 anywhere? If not, I'm going to sell over here at £360,000. Anybody else coming in? At £360,000 anymore? 365, 365. New place at the back. I'll take it from the gentleman in the green shirt. I don't know if you're together. Are you together, you two? Yeah, OK, it's against you now. 370. At the very back, it's against the gentleman in the gangway, and it's at £370,000. Any more? 375. 375. Anybody else coming in? Very crowded room. If I can't see you, shout out, wave your catalogue, but I'm selling over here if I can't do better. 376. 376. 377. Bit more? I'll go through the motions while you think about it. £376,000 for the first time. At £376,000 for the second time. Third and last time, you're done. Sold. £376,000. Gentlemen standing up at the back.
Very experienced dealers that have been around for an awful long time. They know the areas they specialise in, they know the roads in the areas they specialise in. And so they won't waste their time looking at every property in the catalogue. They would just come to the auction with the catalogue. They look at the photograph, and if they feel the price is right and it's an attractive-looking property, they'll start bidding for it. But it all depends on the price. They will only bid up to a certain level. They won't just go on and on until they get it. They will have their ceiling and they'll stop there.
210, 210, 215.
When people buy at auction, they actually know that once they've bid, and if they're the final bidder, the hammer's fallen, then they bought the property. They can't be gazumped. The owner can't phone up next week and say he's had a better offer. The purchaser can walk away from the auction room knowing he's actually bought his property. And invariably, if it's an owner-occupier buying a vacant house, they will be buying at a bit of a discount.
215, 216, 216, 217. Have a little conference about it. Yes, they've made their mind up. 217, 218, 218, 219. I'll do it again while you think about it again. Have a little chat with the wife. 219, 220, 220, 221. What's that? 220,500. Makes hard work of it, but I don't mind. 221 from you? 221, 221.5, 221.5, 222, 222, 222.5, 222.5, 223.
At auctions, there should be something for everybody, whether you want a castle or a terrace house in Rochdale. You know, we get them all. The majority of them are in the sort of Greater London area, but we do spread out to other parts of the country. We've had a run of properties in the Midlands and the north of England, northwest, northeast, and they're varying prices. They seem remarkably cheap in the north, but that's only really compared to London.
At 224,500 for the second time. Third and last time, you're done. No, sorry, you're all very close, but I'm looking for a little more. Can't quite sell it there.
I'm used to this environment. I buy everything from stamps to, you name it. If I think there's an investment potential, I buy it. So as a separate issue to my project management company, this is my own personal development company, which I buy various properties here, there, and everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm here next month buying a house somewhere in London. I mean, that's the sort of way I operate. When I first started my company, I was going to call it another name, an English name. And the clients I have today all said to me, well, why, Ferdy? I mean, we know you as Ferdy Erasmus. So I've called myself Erasmus Management Construction. The conservatory, as you know, we've taken the fire escape off the roof.
The skyway.
I'm a project manager. I develop projects for clients who need a specialized form of manager who might not necessarily have it in-house, who employs my services, who knows the sort of work, how to start from digging the holes, from the architect, the planning, right through to completing the building and handing the keys over. We're a service company. I think, you know, on a nice summer's day, if you can open all this up, you know, get a real feeling of openness.
It'll be good.
The more Erasmus signs I see up in London means I'm busy. And I want to see them in every street, in every suburb. I want to see them out of London. I want to see them across the UK and even outside of the UK. And I'm going to do it. The big boys had better watch out. I'm on my way.
Some investments up in the Shetland Islands, very fine part of the north of Scotland. Can offer them as lotted in the catalogue. Lot 35 is the first one, which is North House, detached cottage, let fairly low rent, £9 a year, believed capable of increase. I think get that improved. £9 a year is the income at the moment.
The lawyers who act for the purchasers have got ample time to look at the special conditions of sale, which is the contract of purchase, which spells out if there are any defects on the title. So providing a lawyer quickly looks at that, they'll soon tell.
But nice detached cottage up in the Shetland Islands, North House, photograph on the right-hand page. Fight your bids, please. When last time on this? Something about £5,000. £5,000, think I'll take that. 5,250 anywhere? 5,250, thank you. 5,500, 5,500, 5,750. Bit more? No more? Don't look at him, look at me. 5,750, 6,000, 6,000, 6,250. Not 250? Seems cheap to me. £6,000 on my left. Anybody else coming in? £6,000 on my left for lot 35. Any more? Cheap lot. It's going if we can't do better. Anybody else? Not 250? £6,000 in on my left for the first time. At £6,000 for the second time. Third and last time. You all done? Sold £6,000.
This is one of my sort of more idiosyncratic things. I quite like the idea of buying this property up in Muness. Well, I've just bought the thing, so now the next thing is to go and look at it. I'm not quite sure what to expect. I believe there's a house in it, and I believe there's sheep and peat and various other things. But we'll find out when I get up there in the next couple of weeks when I decide to go, when I can find the time.
Everybody who comes is deemed to have made their own inquiries and they know what they're bidding for. And there's no question afterwards about, oh, they didn't realise this was happening or that was happening. You've got to be sure, and you've got to put your money where your mouth is, really. You've got to make your inquiries beforehand.
I just happen to want this property. It's I suppose one could spend the money on other things, but I'm spending it on that, and I'm very happy with it. You know, I'm certainly not going to change my mind. I'll follow this one right through.
Prior to that, it was a bit difficult because we had problems with the design and problems with the way it looked. Water running down it as well, swimming down the side of it. It was great, incredible.
But you
it
do
looked like that.
You do like what you've done now?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So come on, Freddie, what's this about? I hear about you actually buying this place in the Shetlands there.
You know about that?
Yeah, I heard.
Shetlands?
Yeah. You've got He's going sheep farming now.
You're not?
Yeah.
Does that make you a laird now? Indeed it does. Geez. In fact, I could have my way with anyone here. Yeah.
Sheep shearing and then sheep shearing. Can you imagine? Can't you? Sheep shearing.
Have you had a course in this, Freddie? Have you had a course? Have you been on a course?
I don't know what I've got up there. You'll find out when I get up there. But you can come as my invited guests.
But how do you actually get there?
I don't know, you get on aeroplanes.
Does it have a
They have airplanes to the
boat
area.
or what?
How the hell do you think people get there?
I don't know. Who lives there?
People, for Christ's
How many
sakes.
people?
What's this, 20 questions?
I don't know, I want to see the thing before I actually bought it. But I think,
Listen, Keith, where'd I find time to go all the way up there to the north of England, or Scotland, or whatever? Well, I'm going up there. I own it. It says 9 acres.
How many bedrooms you got?
3, I think.
why'd you buy it without seeing it?
Well, now I picked up this book. There's this picture. There's a bit of a story. I thought, great, I'll buy it. That's what I've done.
When did you first see it?
A couple of weeks ago.
In the brochure?
What, with the outside cars here and the...
yeah.
Can you imagine, can't you? No, I think actually you've got a good buy up there. It'll
that?
appreciate in value, most definitely. Yeah?
What's that?
Don't you when London gets overcrowded?
You guys should start having some bloody more respect here. As laird, I can bring back hanging.
I hardly think
Not
so.
down here, you can't.
Yeah, but I'll
We're
bring
not
it.
going to go anywhere near that, that's for sure. That sounds a bit better to me.
No, I tell you, we will actually come up and visit you.
More wine, bloody hell.
Oh, thank you very much.
Cheers. Cheers, thank you.
Who's paying for this one? I hate paying.
No, the
Come on,
actually-
laird, you obviously got the funds, so I mean...
That's right. I think actually you have funds to squander.
You've got a title to do up to now.
On just follies.
And this could be the Ferdy Macarasmus Leisure Centre.
Macarons.
Actually, I think it's a slight problem,
With the experience I've had,
population
what
is
the
very
hell's going on
great.
in this damn thing? Is it going somewhere? Eh?
Taking off the
Definitely,
Shetlands
we're
down, you're right.
definitely we're on our way. That's definitely. We're on our way. This is
I like that house, you know. It's a super little house. And, you know, I think this place grows on you. I reckon after if I had to come and spend a couple of weeks here, I'd really start enjoying myself. I mean, I was a bit sort of taken aback yesterday, you know, not knowing what I was going to see, but I like what I see now, and I'm certainly getting used to it. In fact, I wouldn't mind staying here a couple more days, but business has other plans for me. It's a nice place.
Ferdy has bought a piece of land. It's a croft. It's someone else's croft. Ferdy has bought the landlord's interest in a croft. The house that Ferdy thinks he has bought was built by the crofter's forefathers and will always be owned by this crofter's family. The law is very protective and somewhat involved. Indeed, a croft has been called a piece of land surrounded by a sea of legislation.
Hello.
Hello,
You must be
I'm
Francis.
Francis.
How do you do? Pleased to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Well, this is an experience from Harare in Zimbabwe to right up the top of England, isn't it?
Yes.
As you've probably heard, I've a few months ago I ran my own business in London, and a few months ago I happened to see something in a brochure, which I thought, oh, it looks nice, I'll buy it, which I subsequently technically completed on. As you know, obviously I have no intention of. I just came to see what I've technically bought. So I got some Scottish solicitors and people like that obviously involved in this thing. I actually saw it in this brochure. I don't know if you've actually seen this one. It's quite good reading. You see, that's a sort of photograph that showed you. It's It's a big company in London that deals in this sort of thing. And then I just read this, and it says a detached cottage believed to contain 4 rooms, kitchen, bathroom, outbuildings include a bare barn, several sheds, blah, blah, blah. The grounds are mainly laid to grass. Properties, I wish my rent was this low, £9 a year. And it is believed the tenant does not reside on the property, approximately 9 acres. Now that's all I had to go by, So of course I just went and put a bid in, and the sort of thing that you see at the back of this. You put a bid in. That's all signed and obviously completed. It is believed that the tenant does not reside on the property. So I'm not quite sure what that all means. So I've come here just basically open-handed to say, I've got no intentions of changing anything. I just want to know what the situation is.
Well, there's a few things it's not right to begin with there.
Really?
But unfortunately, you're sort of in the same position as a lot of other people has bought crofts around the Muness estate.
Right.
And what they really bought is, well, there are no houses for sale here to begin with.
Yes.
What the guy that bought the Muness estate has done is sold it off and used pictures of the houses as a way to sell the crofts.
So what's a croft?
That's just the
Well,
piece of land.
The croft is the piece
So
of
in fact,
land.
I have bought a croft and not the house. I see. So that the legal documents I have mean nothing.
No.
So I have legal documents in my possession, signed by solicitors, witnessed, everything by the land registry, everything, and they mean nothing.
Well, the land is yours. You bought the land.
No, I'm talking about. It's
Yeah. No, that's the way it sounds there. But
Well, actually, my deeds, my title deeds say the house. So that's what I can't understand. That's what I'm trying to. I mean, I'm not trying to. Goodness me, I'm not trying to say anything wrong. The last thing I do is create a problem, even if But what my title deeds do say is that the house, the property on the land as well.
Yeah. Well, nearly all these houses has been sold in the same way.
They have.
Well, I can show you the boundary of what you own, really. It goes along that fence there, up here, and well, up to the fence up at the back of the house. It's about 6, 7 acres.
6, 7. So even the 9 acres is wrong.
Well, that could be right. I'm just not sure about the exact. It's 3-point-something hectares.
Really?
But I mean, that's what it is. Just what you can see from here over to that fence there.
I see. So it doesn't actually go down to the sea.
No.
So
And it finishes at the fence, runs along there.
Right. No, that's very.
It's just this piece what you see here.
Yes. So is there a document that says that because?
Oh yeah, we've got the papers.
You've
here.
got the paper saying you're the croft.
Yeah, I'm the tenant.
So you are actually the tenant. You are not the landlord.
You're the owner. No, you're the landlord.
So
No,
I do. So I do actually own the property.
You own the land. You don't own the house.
How can I not own the house if I own the land? Did you build that house?
It's been in the family for a couple 100 years, I suppose. I've got the crafting papers.
Crafting papers.
Yeah.
Is that your solicitors that have got those, or do you have?
Well,
them?
it comes from the Crafters Commission,
So it's from the Crofters Commission.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. So you, as the tenant, you built that house, having the croft, this croft.
I didn't it myself.
No, but having this croft, your family built that house. For instance, going back in your family a couple of 100 years or whatever the case may
Well,
be.
it's all handed down.
It's all handed down.
It's
So
all handed
the
down.
tenancy is handed down.
Handed down. My father had this before me.
Your father.
Yeah.
So who was the landlord
Before that, his father had it.
And why have you never actually owned the land?
Because it's never been bought, which has always been the tenants of it.
I see. So therefore, you say I own the land, but I don't own the properties.
That's right, yeah.
Right. So I could go and put a big bond over your house, and that would be all right.
No, really, no.
No.
Not without our permission.
No, but I'd have to get
that
so I would have to get your permission to erect something on this land.
That's right, yeah.
So even though I own the land, I couldn't build anything on it unless I
No.
got your permission.
No.
I see.
I'm not sure all the ins and outs of the legal bit of it, but that's basically the...
Well, I can assure you, you will know in the next month or two, because I'm going to find out.
We'll be glad, and so all the people, all the neighbours around here be glad.
I'm not here to cause any problems, believe me. Don't misunderstand me.
realise
But I
that.
like to know exactly
Well,
what I'm doing.
I should think so, if you bought something, that, I mean, something you don't really own, isn't it?
I own it.
You own the land, yeah.
I own the land. Right, we're getting back to square circles, yeah. Right, I think that's all. You'll be hearing from me. I know where to get hold of this Crofts Commission. I've got your address, and I will do a full investigation as to exactly who owns what a tenancy means, how long you've had the croft, how long a croft can continue, how it gets handed down, you know, just the whole legal ramifications, and then I'll make a decision based on that. I think that's the best thing. Quite interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it's very interesting.
You know, I'm personally bloody furious. I mean, if there's a croft on something, therefore it is already owned. You cannot sell something which is already owned. One has to assume that the thing is for sale. But if it's already owned and they're trying to sell something that's already owned, then we have a problem. So, I don't know. I have a solicitor coming down, purely independent, just to advise me on this crofting, because, you know, when I bought this property, I was never told about a croft. So anyway, this guy's coming down here. And obviously, if you hear anything more from the solicitors in Edinburgh, you'll come back to me as well. And after I've had a discussion with him, John, I'll tell you what he said. We'll educate both of us. All right? All right, then. Bye-bye now. Jerry.
Mr. Rasmus, yeah.
Nice to meet you. Purdy is his name.
Purdy.
Yeah, and dispense with the misters where I come from. We can't spell our names half the time. Take a seat.
Right.
Well, what I want to know from you, amongst some of the questions, is what does the word croft mean? How does it come into being? Is there some sort of documentation? There must be something that says John Hunter is the crofter on my property. And if that is the case, is it true that, as I've heard, that if he wants to buy my place, he can buy it at just 4 times the rentable value, the yearly rentable value? So, which means he can buy it for under £100, whereas I paid quite a few £1,000s for it. You know, can we start off, you can answer some of these questions for me?
What you have come across is a problem which relates to the Northwest Highlands and Islands so far as a property purchaser is concerned. Because these areas have a different form of landholding called crofting.
Is that a simple word for tenant? Tenants? It's
yes,
a different type of tenancy?
It's a different kind of tenancy, but it's a protected tenancy and has been for over 100 years. That protection was because people who had inhabited the land were being moved off the land by people who became owners.
By vicious landlords and people like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so they are protected and have been for over 100 years. Indeed, to become a crofter gives you rights over the land, which include the full use of the surface of the land. You have to view the whole problem, and it's a historical one. This is someone who lives very remotely, who is living on land, and his predecessors have lived on the same land. Until 100 years ago, these people could be removed from the land. Since 1976, however, their rights have been seen as to be equivalent to ownership of at least half the value of the land.
I see.
If the landlord wants to take part of the land away for any type of development, to give someone a house site, or to start a fish farm development, or to plant trees, then the crofters are entitled to share in half the market value.
Guy can't lose, can he?
Well, that's right. He is in fact a tenant and very secure.
So he can just do what he likes?
Well, it's his croft. He is paying a rent for whatever the landlord is providing.
All I want to know is if I wanted to go and live there in the next 5 years, how would I go about removing the tenant, the croft? If I could do I write to the Scottish Board of Crofters or something and say, look, here's a genuine reason why I'm going to live here. I'm selling everything up in London. I want to now go and live on this bit of land that I bought on the 19th of July 1988. I'm going to develop, I will work it like the other guy.
Even if the crofter was prepared to go of his own accord, even if he was prepared to accept compensation for his loss.
If I offered him a lump sum cash payment.
Yes. even then the land would still be subject to crofting controls. The Crofters Commission, which is a body set up to keep a record of crofts, to keep a register of crofters and their landlords, the Crofters Commission may not consider you to be an appropriate person to take over the croft, even though you own the land and even though the crofter's not there. And therefore, because it's subject to crofting controls, you may be forced to take another crofting tenant.
Bloody hell. This is pathetic. Why did I even buy the place?
Well, I think you would have been well advised to go to the property and find out who was there, what the tenant's rights were.
You know, one gets the feeling these people think, well, hell, he's not going to go all the way up there. We just sell it like you sell a property in England. He'll buy it, Wally, which I am now. And I end up carrying the can. I mean, I've absolutely no interest in all in getting rid of these croft people. All I'm saying is that someone sold me something and done it in a very bloody sneaky way. Forget the tenant and how I get rid of him and that's on. Of course, that's for another day, and I'd employ you on a separate basis for that. And frankly, as you say, I wouldn't probably be a good peat farmer. But how do we get this business stopped? Look, it's obvious this has all belonged to one person, and he's quietly carved it all up and got rid of it to some poor people here in England. Now, I'm not selling my property. I'm going to keep it because I happen to get on very well with my tenant anyway. And they're nice people. You know, I've got certainly mean them no harm at all. Even if I could get rid of them, I wouldn't. So we're not talking about them. What I'm talking about is people that possibly don't have the same love for this area as I have, okay, who have bought it as an investment and found out that all they've bought is the word spelled L-A-I-R-D, laird. And you can drink scotch at the local Gaelic on a Saturday night. That's all you've paid $6,000 for. Nothing else. Now, even if I pay the guy 50 grand to get off, then I'd be told, well, you can't work it. We've got this guy down here. He's been here 30 years. We'd rather have him. So you're in a no-win position, are you? I mean, I am. I mean,
right.
Is that to sum up, I'm in a no-win situation, aren't I?
If the house does not now belong to you, you have not bought it. So you could not have bought what they say you were buying.
Good. Okay, so what we'll do now is then get the whole thing we'll write a letter, find out exactly what's happening, and then we're going to then, from that, find out if I've been sold something which was never mine in the first place. And I mean, there it is, clearly the house is shown. In fact, that piece of land there is not part of my property. My property goes that way. That's someone else's property, which I established when I was up there. But it does say you know, detached cottage, 4 rooms. It says it. It says investment, heritable freehold. So, I don't know about the word croft up until this. No one's told me about any croft. Nice room.
Comfy.
Dear Mr. Erasmus, Croft at North House, Unst, Shetland. I refer to our recent meeting at your office in London and write to confirm that it appears that the property you have bought is registered as a croft. Paragraph. This means that your rights as owner of the land are severely restricted. Paragraph. As I understand that several people have purchased tenanted land in Scotland and are in the same position as you, I suggest that you contact the auctioneers and have them mention the word croft in future brochures.
What I didn't know, what no one told me, was that there is a thing called a croft in the Shetland Islands. Now, something which is totally unique to me. Yeah. I mean, I know that it says here that it is believed that the tenant does not reside on the property. Now, under your English system here, I assumed tenant being a tenant. You know, there's a guy that rents the property or whatever, you know, £9 a year, whatever it is.
Scottish property law is different to English property law.
But don't you think it would have been nice just to put something in there? I bet you, if you put, this is a croft or a crofter, it probably wouldn't sell, would it?
Debatable, I think.
I would have phoned up a solicitor in Scotland, because I know many solicitors, and said, what's a croft? Well, you're only the freeholder. It's not yours. You're not allowed to build anything on it. You can't have it. You're not allowed to use it. In fact, you can do bugger all with it. Okay? But you can own it. You can spend 10 grand or whatever, and it's not yours, technically. You're the laird. Well, I mean, bloody hell, it's a lot of money to pay just to be called a laird.
I don't think the word croft would make any difference at all. And if you like, the next time we offer some more of these, and there will be some coming out, I think, February or March,
right.
I'll put the word croft
Would you do that?
And we'll see what sort of reaction we
I'd be
get.
very interested,
I
Robin,
don't think it'll make the slightest difference at all.
I might have still bought it.
Yeah.
But I think it would have made me think, hang on, you know, I can't go and start there whenever I want to. He's protected to such an extent that you, in effect, don't own it. That's what makes me cross.
I really
have
didn't know that.
rights.
No.
I have absolutely no rights over that property. None. So I might as well take the money and chuck it in the high street. Someone's going to pay somewhere along the line. That's what I will say at this stage. Someone's going to pay for this.
It's a matter of principle, isn't it? Really?
I'm not worried about the money.
No.
It's the next guy that comes in, because I'll be there. You know, luckily I get these things now.
Yeah.
And I'll be there. Believe me, I'm going to do a bit of investigation before your
No,
February.
you told me. I really didn't think we were selling. I thought we were selling normal tenanted properties in Scotland, which is how it was presented to us by the owners.
Well, are you pleased that I've brought
I'm
this?
very pleased, yes. That means that we can actually sort of correct the mistake in the future.
I tell you what, those properties that come up in February, March, believe me, I'll be looking at them very closely. And I'll find out who's selling them and what terms, if it means I have to fly personally to Shetland to get the truth. Because I'll come to your auction room and I'll stand up and I'll say, no, you cannot do this.
46 I'll take down here, 47 over here, 48 from you, 49, 50, 51, 52, £51,000, and 52, 53 from you, 53, 54, 54, 55, 55, 56, 55 and a half, I'll take it over here, 56, 56 from you, 56.
Well, I hope they've learned something from this. They're not selling any crofts.
Third and last have you done?
I've lost 6 grand, but it's probably worth it for those poor people that have spent a lot of money, more than me. I'm going to go have a drink now. 6 grand down the drain, but no crofts have been sold today.